Welcome to the deep dive. You've shared your sources with us on, well, one of the most frustrating things in any health journey,
Mm.
the weight loss plateau.
Mm-hmm.
That point where you're doing everything right, sticking to the plan, and the scale just stops,
Yeah.
dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
So today, we're diving deep into your material. We're going to pull out the key insights and hopefully give you a clear path to understanding why these plateaus happen
Mm.
and, more importantly, what you can actually do about them.
And understanding that is really key. Plateaus, they aren't a sign you failed somehow. That's a really common way people feel, but
Right.
it's actually a completely normal physiological thing your body does. It's an adaptation.
Yeah.
And getting that is sort of the foundation for sticking with it, not getting totally derailed when things slow down.
Okay, so let's pin this down, a definition.
Yeah.
When we say weight loss plateau, what exactly are we talking about? Because it's got to be more specific than just, oh, the scale didn't move today.
Exactly, yeah. The sources generally define a true plateau as about 3 to 4 weeks with no real meaningful change.
3 to 4 weeks, okay.
Yeah, in both your body weight and your waist and hip measurements. And that's despite sticking pretty closely to your plan, like 80 to 90% adherence.
And that phrase, meaningful change, seems important there.
It is, because your weight can bounce around quite a bit day to day. That's just normal noise.
Okay, so how do you tell the difference between a real stall and just that noise? What causes the daily fluctuations?
Well, the daily noise can be pretty deceptive, actually. Things like water retention, how much sodium you've had.
Salt.
Yes, salt, even just, bowel contents, where you are in your menstrual cycle, if applicable, or your glycogen levels, that's your stored carbs.
Right.
All that stuff can swing the scale by like 1 or even 2 kilograms.
Yeah.
Easily, but it's temporary. It's not actual fat changing.
So lesson 1,
Yeah.
don't panic. Before you start drastically changing things, you need to be pretty sure it's a real plateau, not just water weight or something.
Absolutely. If it's been less than, say, 4 weeks, the best advice is usually just stick with your current plan, be patient, and recheck.
Patience, okay.
Yeah, it lets you see past that temporary noise to find out if there's a genuine physiological stall happening. Jumping the gun can actually mess things up.
Okay, so we know what it is. Now let's get into the why, the physiology behind it. Why does your body seem to, well, resist losing more weight? It feels like it's more than just calories, right?
Oh, it's definitely more complex than just calories in, calories out. Our bodies are incredibly adaptive. One of the biggest players here is something called adaptive thermogenesis.
Okay.
So after you lose some weight, your resting energy expenditure, basically the calories you burn just existing.
Your metabolism at rest.
Exactly. It drops more than the standard equations would predict based just on your smaller size. We're talking like 10 to 15% lower than expected.
Wow.
Or, put another way, maybe 20 to 30 fewer calories burned per day for every single kilogram you've lost.
Yeah.
And there's some really compelling data on this, like from that Biggest Loser study.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, they found participants' resting metabolic rate dropped by an average of 610 calories a day during the active weight loss.
Yeah?
And get this, 6 years later, it was still suppressed, like 704 calories a day lower than their original baseline.
Whoa. 700 calories, that's huge. Just gone from your daily burn.
It's a massive adaptation. And that's not all. There's also neat, non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Neat, that's like fidgeting, walking around, right? Not planned exercise.
Exactly. And this often goes down without you even noticing. You might just unconsciously move less throughout the day. Less pacing, less fidgeting, fewer spontaneous movements. And that seemingly small change, it can silently cut anywhere from, say, 100 to maybe even 500 calories a day from your total burn. It shrinks your deficit without you realizing.
Okay, so your resting metabolism slows down more than expected, and you unconsciously move less.
Right. Plus, there's the simple physics.
Yeah,
A smaller body just burns fewer calories.
makes sense. Less mass to move.
Exactly, that walk you used to do. It burns less energy now than it did 5 or 10 kilograms ago. Your fundamental energy needs decrease as you get smaller.
Okay, I see how those add up. Metabolism, movement. What about hormones? I feel like hormones always come into play with weight stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Hormones are major players here. Weight loss triggers some really specific hormonal shifts. For instance, research shows leptin levels, that's the hormone that signals fullness and tells your brain you have enough energy stored.
The satiety hormone.
Kinda, yeah. Those levels can drop significantly. One study mentioned a 64.5% decrease.
Wow.
And at the same time, ghrelin, which people often call the hunger hormone,
It makes you want to eat.
that tends to go up. So your body is basically turning up the hunger signals and turning down the fullness signals. It's actively fighting to stop further weight
So
loss.
you feel hungrier and less satisfied.
Precisely. And other hormones get involved too. Thyroid hormones can adjust, and digestive hormones like peptide YY and GLP-1, which also help signal fullness, can change in ways that don't help weight loss.
It really sounds like our bodies are like hardwired to hang on to weight. Does this connect to that set point theory idea?
It does, yeah. The set point theory basically proposes that your body kind of wants to maintain a certain weight range, its set point. When you lose weight and dip below that,
Your body panics a bit.
sort of,
Yeah.
your brain interprets it as a potential threat, like starvation. So it triggers responses, slowing metabolism, increasing hunger to try and push your weight back up into that preferred range. It's an old survival mechanism.
Even if it's super frustrating now.
Exactly. So it's way more complex than just willpower or counting calories. Your body is actively adapting on multiple levels.
And then you've got other things too, right? Like maybe losing some muscle if you're not doing resistance training. That would lower metabolism too.
Definitely. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. Losing it is not ideal. And sometimes things like water retention from starting new strength work or maybe a higher carb day or even stress can temporarily mask fat loss on the scale, making it look like a plateau when it's not quite.
Okay, so with all that going on physiologically, it makes total sense why hitting a plateau feels so discouraging. That emotional side is really real.
It absolutely is. Feeling frustrated, doubting yourself, losing motivation, even thinking about just giving up. That's not just common, it's almost universal.
Yeah.
There's research, like from Chaput and others, showing a higher risk of depression symptoms during plateaus. Another study, the English longitudinal study, found people trying to lose weight actually had higher odds of having a depressed mood. These feelings are valid. Your body and mind are navigating some big internal shifts.
And I guess our expectations don't help, do they? We kind of expect weight loss to be this smooth, straight line down.
Exactly. We see the charts, we want that linear progress. But reality is usually, bumps, dips, and plateaus. That expectation, plus maybe some all or nothing thinking.
Right, like if I'm not losing, I've failed.
Yeah, that thinking. And maybe social pressure setting unrealistic timelines. It all sets you up for disappointment. But here's a different way to look at it. A plateau often means your body is successfully adapting to its new, lower weight.
So it's not failure, it's adaptation.
It's a sign your body is working, adjusting, it's not failing.
That's a much better frame. So how do we work with that? How do we cope?
Self-compassion is key, seriously. It's not about being soft. It's actually a performance tool. Being kind to yourself during these tough spots improves your ability to stick with things and bounce back. Recognize these phases are normal, part of the process.
Okay, all right. So knowing all this science, knowing it's normal, knowing it's okay to feel frustrated, what can you, the listener, actually do when you hit that wall? Let's get practical. What's in the toolkit?
Right, the action plan. The sources suggest a pretty systematic, rapid troubleshooting approach, like a decision tree.
Right, lay it out for us.
Step 1. Verify it's a real plateau. Has
Yeah.
it really been 4 weeks with no change in weight A&D measurements? If not, just wait. Patience first.
Got it. Step 2.
Step 2. Audit your adherence. Like, really honestly, for a full 7 days. Track everything. Oils, little licks and bites off someone else's plate, drinks. Aim for 90% or more consistency with your plan.
Be honest with yourself.
Okay.
Step 3.
Step 3. If your tracking is genuinely solid, like you're really hitting that 90% plus dabber, then you've got a couple of options. You could drop your daily intake slightly by maybe 200 to 300 calories.
Gentle cut.
Gentle cut. Or you could increase your activity at about 2,000 to 3,000 steps per day. A&D, maybe add one more resistance training session per week. Choose one, not necessarily both at first.
Okay, tweak the energy balance. What's step 4?
Step 4 is if you're feeling really fatigued or cravings are super high. In that case, consider taking a diet break. That means eating at your true maintenance calorie level for 1 or 2 weeks. Keep protein high, keep training, but give your body a physiological and psychological breather, then go back to the deficit.
Ah, a strategic pause. Interesting. And what if you're still stuck after all that?
Okay, so if you've done all that and you're still stuck after maybe 6 to 8 weeks, then it's time for some clinical checkpoints. Review things like medications you're taking, your sleep quality, get your thyroid checked. Consider conditions like sleep apnea, OSA, or PCOS if relevant. This is where you might consult a doctor about underlying issues or even medical therapies.
Right, rule out other factors. So that's the troubleshooting. What about the long-term foundations? the things you need to keep dialed in consistently.
Yeah, reset the basics. These are your non-negotiables for sustainable progress and for breaking through plateaus. First, protein. Aim for about 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of your body weight each day, maybe even up to 2.0 grams per kilo if you're training really hard.
Protein helps with fullness and muscle retention, right?
Exactly. Second, fiber. Shoot for 25 to 35 grams a day, lots of vegetables, pulses, whole grains. Third, steps, that NEAT we talked about. Actively manage it. Add 2,000, 3,000 steps over your baseline. Set a minimum floor for yourself, maybe 8,000 or 10,000 steps a day.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Fourth, resistance training. 2 to 4 sessions a week. Focus on the big compound lifts and try to get progressively stronger over time. That protects muscle. And fifth, cardio. Aim for 150 to 300 minutes a week of moderate intensity or 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity.
So nail those basics. And when adjusting calories, you said gentle cut. No drastic slashing.
Right. Dial the energy gap gently. Trim just those 200, 300 calories. Big, aggressive cuts often backfire. They can crank up that adaptive thermogenesis even more, make you hungrier and harder to stick to. Consistency with meal timing, watching liquid calories, limiting those ultra-processed snacks, that helps too.
And you mentioned diet breaks. Are there other strategic pauses?
Yeah, besides full diet breaks, some people find refeeds helpful. That's maybe 1 or 2 days a week where you intentionally bump up your carbs a bit, usually still aiming near maintenance calories. It can help with training performance, refill glycogen, and maybe give a little mental break. Again, keep protein high even on refeed days.
Makes sense. And protecting muscle mass seems critical through all of this.
It's absolutely vital. So to defend lean mass, got to prioritize sleep 7 to 9 hours ideally. You need to manage stress effectively. And like we said, keep that protein intake up and make resistance training non-negotiable. Those are your anchors.
Okay, anchors locked in. What about tracking progress?
Yeah.
If the scale is being difficult.
Yeah. Measure what matters. Don't obsess over the daily scale number. Track your monthly average weight that smooths out the noise. Take measurements waist, hips. Progress photos can be incredibly revealing over time. And keep a log of your workouts. Are you getting stronger? Lifting more? That's progress.
Look beyond the scale.
Exactly. Expect plateaus. Look for the trends over 4 weeks or more, not the blips of single days. That gives you the real picture.
Okay, this is all great theory and strategy. Let's make it real. Your sources had some compelling real-world stories, right? People who actually went through this.
Absolutely. There were examples like Kate, whose journey took 15 months, and she really had to learn to see progress in ways other than just the number on the scale. Or Sarah Borgstad, who apparently broke a 15-year plateau with some specific changes, like cutting out artificial sweeteners. And Mark LaRouste, who talked about hitting multiple plateaus but focusing on just being directionally correct, not perfectly linear.
So it happens to everyone. What about some of the specific examples from India that were highlighted? How did these principles play out there?
Yeah, those were really insightful. Take Supriya from Mumbai. She lost weight initially, then bam, hit a plateau. Her nutritionist got strategic, tweaking her diet every couple of weeks.
What kind of tweaks?
Using familiar traditional Indian meals, dal chawal, roti sabzi, even using ghee moderately, but adjusting things to sort of keep the body guessing. It worked. She lost 12 kilos over 6 months.
So it wasn't about totally eliminating traditional foods.
Not at all. It was about managing them strategically. Then there was Ashish Sakdeva from Haryana. He had a really long plateau, like 10 months.
Wow, 10 months is tough.
Very tough. His breakthrough involved several things. Bringing in spiritual practices, completely cutting out sugar, and having very structured Indian meals like 4 egg whites and 2 whole eggs for breakfast, and eating dinner early by 7 p.m. He had a massive transformation eventually.
Incredible persistence. What about preventing plateaus? Any examples there?
Yes. Sharada Kurupolu, a nutritionist from Vizag who lost 20 kilos herself. Her approach was meticulous measurement. She said she measured every ingredient, down to the oil in her curry and the grains of rice.
Precision.
Total precision. She used South Indian meals, rice-based, but with controlled portions. Combine that with early dinner, 5 or 6 p.m., and 16-hour intermittent fasting. By being so precise, she basically sidestepped many common plateau triggers.
It really highlights how small details add up.
Yeah.
What were some of those common kind of hidden pitfalls people ran into in that context?
Yeah, the sources pointed out several, like an IT professional in Bengaluru, stuck. Why? His daily steps had dropped without him realizing. His seemingly light breakfast, 3 idlis, sambar, sugary coffee, was actually packing 600, 700 calories.
Whoa, that's not light.
Not really. And he wasn't tracking cooking oils. The fix. Set a non-negotiable 10,000 step floor, Add protein to breakfast, like having curd with the Idleys actually measure the oil, just 2 teaspoons a day, and add 2 resistance workouts a week. Saw results pretty quickly then.
The oil thing seems huge. And sugary drinks.
Definitely. That came up too. Another example was a Hyderabad family whose progress stalled because of biryani Saturdays. That one meal plus extras was adding like 1,500 to 2,000 calories, basically wiping out their entire week's deficit.
Oof. So what did they do? Give up biryani?
Nope, just smarter management. They started sharing one plate instead of having individual ones, added a big side of cucumber salad, skipped dessert, and make sure to get extra steps in on Sunday, like 12, 15,000. Manage the surplus, don't necessarily eliminate the tradition.
Smart. And what about things you can't control? Like the weather. The Mumbai monsoon example.
Right, the Mumbai monsoon lull. Activity naturally drops when it's pouring, gyms might close, travel is harder, people might reach for comforting rainy day snacks like bhaji, which can also cause water retention due to salt and frying.
Double whammy.
Yeah. The fix involved adapting, doing resistance training at home, consciously pacing indoors to hit 10,000 steps, swapping those high-calorie snacks for things like roasted chana or fruit, and being mindful of keeping sodium intake consistent day-to-day to manage water retention. The scale might stall for 10 days from water, but then it drops again once things normalize.
These stories really highlight those mini-maths that stall fat loss, especially in the Indian context mentioned in the sources. Little things adding up.
Exactly. Like oil creep, just 2 extra teaspoons of oil used subconsciously each day is nearly 90 calories. That adds up. Or sugar in chai or coffee, 2 teaspoons of sugar, maybe 4 times a day. That alone can block half a kilo of fat loss per month.
Wow.
And those weekend blowouts easily erasing 5 days of careful eating. It's usually not one big thing, but the accumulation of these small, untracked extras.
So consistency, even with the small stuff, is just critical.
It really is. The sources emphasize that almost everyone hits a flat spot for a couple of weeks, but things usually start moving again once you tighten up those variables. Get the NEAT back up, ensure protein is adequate, manage sodium, measure those oils. And these fixes are very adaptable to Indian routines, using curd, paneer, eggs, dal chana for protein, measuring oil, setting step goals even indoors, planning around festivals. Diligence pays off.
Okay, so even when the scale is stuck, there are other wins happening, right? It's not just about that number.
Oh, absolutely not. This is crucial. Even during a plateau, you are very likely still reaping significant evidence-based non-scale victories.
Like what? What should people look out for?
Well, cognitive improvements for one, better memory, sharper focus, quicker thinking. These are documented benefits of weight loss and healthier habits.
Brain gains. Nice.
Yeah. And mood enhancements. Studies show significant improvements in depression symptoms, even with just 5% weight loss, and those benefits can last. People often just feel better later emotionally.
That's huge. What about physically?
Big physical capability gains. Having more energy for just daily life. Finding workouts easier, lifting heavier weights, noticing your resting heart rate has dropped, that feeling of, hey, I'm not getting breathless walking upstairs anymore.
Those are definitely wins.
Totally. And then there are the critical health marker improvements. Lower blood pressure, better blood sugar control and insulin sensitivity, improved cholesterol levels, sleeping better, maybe reduced symptoms of sleep apnea. These things are happening under the surface even if the scale isn't moving. They are massive wins for your long-term health.
That's so important to remember. Those are real, tangible signs your efforts are working, regardless of the scale's fluctuations. I like that quote from Dr. Praveen Ramachandra in the sources. A plateau isn't a wall, it's a landing. Catch your breath, adjust your pack, and climb again.
It's a great perspective.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. The core message seems to be weight loss plateaus. They're normal, they're physiological, they're definitely surmountable. And critically, they are not a sign that you've failed personally.
Exactly. And maybe even take it a step further, plateaus are actually evidence your body is successfully adapting. They're opportunities, really. Opportunities to build more sustainable habits, to troubleshoot, to develop resilience against that physiological pushback. It's like that other quote from Dr. Ramachandra. A plateau isn't proof you failed, it's a hint to retune the instrument.
Retune the instrument. I like that. So for you listening right now, here's a final thought to chew on. How can you view maintaining your habits during a plateau, not as a failure scorecard, but as gathering invaluable data for your next steps? What new non-scale victory, maybe more energy, better sleep, looser clothes, are you going to look for and celebrate this week? Keep exploring, keep tuning, and be patient and compassionate with yourself on this journey.